The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the things that happens nowadays is that when I'm talking to my friends, they start talking about how cheap everything was when we were kids, but now everything is always going up in price. Everything used to be so easy to buy, and now it's impossible. And it's all down to this government or another government that doesn't know how to run a country. And this conversation is an endless cycle, one throwing the responsibility onto the other. And that's exactly what reactive people do. They constantly focus on things they can't control, putting the blame on a scapegoat. It's impossible to think that a concept called inflation can exist and that wages have also risen. On the other side of the coin, there are proactive people who think, even if the criticism is relevant, thinking about it won't help me at all. So I'll focus on the things I can control. If a person works in a proactive company, instead of focusing on how people pull other people's strings to get ahead, or how others might be getting a raise and I'm not, they focus on how to improve to be a key player in the company they work for. Do you see the difference between these two thoughts? Look at the amount of responsibility, dedication, and hard work that the second thought suggests to me. Now tell me, which thought will our lazy brain choose as its default? And that's why so many people focus on things they can't control instead of going after the things they can. Be part of the solution, not the problem. Habit number 1, be proactive. Now imagine you're at a wake and all your friends and family are there too. When you stop in front of the coffin, you come face to face with yourself. Here you are. This is your wake in a few years' time. What would you say about yourself? What would you like all the people you love to say about you in your life? These are some of the most powerful questions you can ask. Is what you do in your life today in line with what you want people to remember? Do you want to be remembered as a good son? If so, how would not obeying your parents and not showing affection help you do that? Do you want to be remembered as a person who left the world a little better? If so, are you looking for things that will make people say that? Or are you afraid of failure and prefer to sit around all day waiting for life to pass you by? And how our lives change when we really know what, deep down, is most important to us. What you want to hear at your funeral is actually your purpose in life. Perhaps fame, money, and other things we chase so hard are part of your plans, or not. Habit number 2 is to start with the goal in mind. Now, if I were to ask you, what are the things that matter most to you? The most common answers would perhaps be your health or your relationships with your family and friends. You would never answer scrolling through your cell phone screen or watching TV. But many of us spend more time on our phones or watching TV than we do observing or cultivating a pleasant home environment. There is a huge gap between what we want and where we actually allocate our time. Are you organized enough to plan your week so that you can do what really matters to you? Habit number 3 is to do the most important thing first. You really want an orange to make juice, but your brother gets it first. You both want the orange, and then the fight starts. After a while, your angry father decides to take the orange, cut it in half, and give half to each of you, thinking that this will satisfy both of you. In the end, everyone loses, because they didn't know that one wanted the orange to make juice, and the other actually only wanted the peel, because he wanted to make jam. Another situation, imagine that I have a pharmacy, and I see you buying a much more expensive medicine than usual, because I realize that you need it badly and would pay any amount. Next time, would you consider coming back to my pharmacy? Wouldn't it be much better for both of us if I gave you a fair price? In that case, you'd be satisfied, and you'd come back to my pharmacy, which would also make me satisfied. Habit number 4 is to think win-win. Stop thinking that for you to win, the other person has to lose. Life doesn't have to be like that. One thing I want is for people to subscribe to my channel, but one thing you'll never hear me say is, well guys, I've had a lot of work to do. I've had to put a lot of hours into this video. Please subscribe. Now seriously, who really cares if I had a lot of work to do? Who cares if I spent days just to create a video? The question that should be asked is, does this video bring something useful to you? Why would you take the time to subscribe when you could be doing something else that interests you more? Habit number 5 is something we should make a daily goal in our lives, something we have to do in every conversation and every interaction we have. Now imagine two friends from college. One is the typical nerd who knows almost everything about programming and electronics, while the other has a huge imagination and good sales skills. On their own, they're just two students and can't create anything special, but when the two of them get together to work, they can make fantastic products. The story is actually of Steve Jobs and Wozniak, which happened when they decided to join forces to make their first computer. What happened is what we call synergy. The total achieved is greater than the sum of its parts. I can tell you with great conviction that it is very difficult to achieve this with everyone, but you should always be looking for opportunities to create synergy, valuing differences, and always trying to achieve a third alternative that satisfies both parties. Habit number 6 is to synergize. And last but not least, imagine you're in a forest and you come across a man trying to cut down a tree. He's been there for more than 5 hours and is exhausted. So you come up to him and say, "Mate, if you sharpen the saw, you'll be able to cut faster." And the man says, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy." We might laugh at this story, but we tend to do this all the time. We can't find 30 minutes a day to work out and improve ourselves physically. We can't read a book for 15 minutes a day to improve ourselves mentally. We don't have time to use our empathy to help a lady carry her shopping home, and we can't take a single hour out of our week to go to church, meditate, or do anything that stimulates our spirituality. So we try tips and shortcuts to be healthy, using techniques and believing that the magic of transformation will happen. It's like buying a Ferrari with no engine and saying to your family, "Where do you want to go this weekend?" Habit number 7 is renewal. That's it, folks. These are the 7 habits of highly effective people. Big changes take time and effort. And now, guys, just quickly, I'd like to thank all the subscribers to my channel who follow the videos and always leave a thumbs up as a token of appreciation. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, just click on the red button to subscribe. And if you can, share the video with your friends. Have a great day.